Welcome to your 12-minute HR lesson. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'm going to talk about your favourite subject and mine: cookers, conveyor belts, engineering, preventative maintenance schedules. And I'm going to convince you why such gritty and practical things are far more important than the flashy, the colourful, and the good-looking. So let's go. Today, we're not going to talk about anything pop culture. We're not going to talk about films, TVs, musicians, anything like that. Now, there's a pretty good chance what I'm going to talk about you don't know about. So first, I'm going to talk about myself. Most of my background, and I've worked in a number of different organizations, a number of different industries. If there's a place that I've spent the most chunk of time, it's manufacturing. And I generally prefer manufacturing because there is a certain sense about it. If the factory's not running and if things aren't working, why not? Let's get going. Okay, what's the best solution? Let's put it in and let's get things moving because the factory's got to run. That sense of needing to get on with it, I quite enjoy. It suits my personality and it makes us laser focused to getting there. We can't sit and dither. So I like to think that I'm a get on with it type of person. What's the problem? What's the best solution? Right, let's get on with it rather than have series of meetings about it. So I like it because it's practical and like it says on the name of the company, this is a pragmatic place. We like to get on with stuff. The person who I find that I'm most similar with in the factory is not who you would think. The person who I think that too many HR people mistakenly align their way of thinking with is marketing. Too much of HR that I see is internal marketing. It's persuading and convincing people that everything is fine and getting people to drink the Kool-Aid and buy the t-shirt that says, "Isn't this company great?" What I'm encouraging you to do is challenge yourself. Maybe I do need to be more like this person, less like that person. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to challenge your thinking to be less like the marketing manager, more like the engineering manager. Now, most of you probably haven't worked in factories, so let me explain what an engineering manager does. But first, what a factory is it takes raw materials, takes paper, takes cotton, takes food, it takes grain, it takes milk, what have you, and it turns them into finished products. The inwards goods, the inwards intake of the factory process, taking those raw materials and via various machineries, kilns, presses, cookers, washers, what have you, plus conveyor belts and transport to move from station to station, it turns them into finished product. Now, what is the engineering manager's job in this? Their job is to keep the factory running. Their job is to make sure all of the various components and machines that make sure that this happen are up, that they are running, that they are going. And an engineering manager, depending on the situation, generally has metrics that they need to hit a 90 to 95% uptime. That means 90 to 95% of the time the factory is running. If it is not running, that's a breakdown, and breakdowns need to be minimized because if it stops, time is money. We got to get up and running again, keeping things moving. If things aren't working right, if it's slowing down the process, if we're getting too many B products, then they need to fix that too. And what the engineering manager does, he has his team of maintenance engineers that she sends out to all these various places in which those engineers turn up and say, what's going wrong? What's the problem? What do I need to do to fix it? And they get things back up and running again. So how is that like you? Hopefully you've spotted it. If not, stop and have a think. We've only got 12 minutes, so I can't give you too long. Pause if you want. Why is the engineering manager and what the engineering manager does the same as what you do? Okay, that's enough time to think. It's pretty straightforward. What does an organization do? An organization takes raw materials and turns them into finished products that someone pays $1 for, even if you're a not-for-profit. Even if you are a public sector, this is still what's happening. Someone needs to get something and you need to get paid for doing that. Every business process, every operation is taking something raw and turning it into something that someone gives up $1 for. Money flows back to the organization for that. How does it do it? What are the two main tools? Essentially, it's labor and capital. It's people and machinery. It's people and the tools that they use in order to make that. Some operations, it's very low skill. Some operations, it's really high skill. But either way, it is the combination. It is people using the tools that they are given to add value to something that a customer will pay for. So if you think about our factory, the engineering manager is looking at all these different stations, all these different conveyors, all these chillers, all these cookers, going, is it working? Is it running at speed? Is it producing to the correct quality? We are doing exactly the same thing. We are looking at the people in that station. We are looking at the people at that area going, is the thing working, doing what it needs to do there, so that all of these things together, things work. Engineers look at the machinery, we look at the people. And in the same way that an engineer, when things aren't working, an engineer is dispatched to say, right, what's the problem? What do we need to do? How do we get this back on track? That's often what HR is doing. Hey, look, we've had reports of a wobble. Things in this team aren't working that well. The line manager's trying to sort it out, but they need your help. Alternatively, an engineer could turn up when there isn't a problem, and what they are doing is preventative maintenance. Doesn't need a clean, doesn't need a greasing. When was the last time the bearings were changed? How do I know that it isn't going to fall over in the future? Let's change some parts that we know will fail to keep it running smoothly in the future. Let's fix it before it's broken. HR does exactly the same thing. What's your remuneration at? Are you being fairly paid? What is the right amount to keep this employee content and keeping going? So from a benefits point of view, that is very analogous to preventative maintenance. ER is fixing problems. Rem and benefits is preventing future problems. But either way, we're doing the same thing, making sure the machine runs. So what's your takeaway from that? Here's a metaphor I want you to think about. Imagine some consultant walks into a factory and says to the engineering manager, hey, wouldn't they look good in the company's colours? Wouldn't they look good in lemon yellow? Can't we paint them all? Wouldn't it be wonderful? Wouldn't it be great for branding? Wouldn't it be good to show the board all of these beautiful looking machines all painted in the company colours of lemon yellow? And all engineering managers would roll their eyes, push back and say, what are you talking about? That's not important. I'm not going to spend time and money and resource making them look nice. The most important thing is, do they work? Do they work well? Do they work all the time? Do they produce good quality product with minimal amount of hiccups and problems? That's what you should be doing as well. If to thrash this metaphor, and look, it is a metaphor, it's not the perfect solution. It doesn't answer everything for you. But this is what you should be thinking, not about how it looks, but is it working? When you look across your organization, look at the people resources within them and think to yourself, are they working? Where are they not working? Where do I anticipate they might not work in the future so I can prevent them? So what are my current problems that I need to fix? What are my future problems that I want to avoid? How it looks to internal stakeholders, external stakeholders should be the least of our priorities. And this is where I get slightly controversial and think HR, when in doubt, strays into PR. We're not entirely sure what we're focusing on. What we get distracted by is appearances and presentation. And what we can say to the board to say, hey, look, aren't things great around here? Don't they look good? That shouldn't be our priority. An engineering manager won't fall for a lemon yellow conveyor belt. We shouldn't either. Well, that was shorter than 12 minutes. Maybe I've made a rod from my own back. Halfway through there, I said, look, aren't I a get on with it type person? And when it came to editing, I'm like, well, that came in under time. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do? Add in words that you don't necessarily need to hear? Labour the points even further? Hopefully in 9 minutes and 50 seconds you get it. The other side of it is that I say 12 minutes, some are over, some are under. Therefore, when I can come in under time, I ought to come in under time. Gives me more room to move in something else. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this. Hopefully this makes you think. If you're interested in our training courses, check us out at Pragmatic HRM. If you think that we can come and help as consultants, also check out our website. We're happy to help. Otherwise, if you're just listening to these podcasts, send them around. This is how we get ourselves out there. If you're prepared to share, if you're prepared to send this to someone else, we'd really appreciate it. Other than that, we'll catch you next time. Thanks.